Assalamualaikum to our respective lecturer. Today we all will presenting of analysis of corporate financial performance. My name is Muhammad dan SHUQRAN bin Muhammad REZUAN and my ID card is 2022961537 and this is our group member consists of 5. First is me, second is Muhammad AMMAR bin AZUAN, ALISYA NABILAH binti Muhammad ZAIN, Muhammad ALIF bin AZIZ and lastly Muhammad FARHAN bin AZAHARI. Right now, I will be presenting about the reason why we choose this company. We all choose Kellogg and Seng for this project because to compare the financial and trend studies of both domestic and international company is one of the main reason why we choose Seng and Kellogg as the companies of our case study. These two big companies have a huge financial profile and a very well-known brand, especially in Malaysia. Both serve in food processing and production industry and have been serving for decades. In 2022, both Seng and Kellogg experiencing mild financial growth and changing, and that's why this case study is dedicated to acknowledge their financial and state and data.
Hi everyone, my name is ALISYA NABILAH binti Muhammad ZAIN. I would like to share with you guys about Kellogg and Seng financial performance. First of all, I will explain the liquidity ratio, which is from 2018 until 2022. The current ratio is a liquidity ratio that measures a company's ability to fulfill short-term obligations or those due within a year. According to the graph, Seng had the highest ratio in 2018 and Kellogg has its lowest ratio ever in 2021. In comparison to Kellogg, this means that Seng has the financial resources to remain solvent in the short term. Next, the quick ratio measures a company's ability to meet its short-term obligation with its most liquid assets and is an indicator of its short-term liquidity position. According to the graph, Seng has the highest ratio in 2018, but it will decrease over the next 2 years. As a result, Seng was capable of repaying its short-term debts without using its stock or accrued expenses. Furthermore, for the activity ratio, Kellogg and Seng Company 5 years from 2018 until 2022. The account receivable turnover ratio calculates how frequently a company collects its average account receivable balance. It measures a company efficiency in collecting outstanding client balance and managing its line of credit process. According to the graph, Kellogg has outperformed Seng in terms of turnover ratio over the last 5 years. However, Seng has the low turnover ratio. Moreover, inventory turnover is a financial ratio that shows how many times a company's inventory was turned over in relation to its cost of goods sold during a specified period. According to the graph, Seng has managed to control the inventory turnover better than Kellogg over the last 5 years. A low inventory turnover ratio could indicate slow sales of overstocking, as well as poor marketing or a problem with a retail chain's merchandising plan. We move on to fixed asset turnover. The fixed asset turnover ratio is commonly used by analysts to assess operating performance. This efficiency ratio evaluates a company's ability to generate net sales from fixed asset investment, such as property, plant, and equipment. It contrasts net sales, the income statement, with fixed assets. According to the graph, Seng outperformed Kellogg in asset turnover for 5 years in a row from 2018 to 2022. A higher fixed asset turnover ratio indicates that Seng has effectively used fixed asset investment to drive sales. Thank you. That's all from me.
Hello everybody, my name is Muhammad bin AZUAN. So today I would like to explain about total asset turnover. The asset turnover ratio compares a company's sales or revenues to the value of its assets. The ratio of asset turnover can be used to determine how efficiently a company uses its assets to generate revenue. Seng has the highest total assets turnover over the 5 years, according to the graph. This demonstrated that when compared to Kellogg, Seng has more effectively corporation that generate revenue from assets. Next, for the profitability ratio, returns on assets is calculated by dividing net income by total assets. It measures how efficiently a company uses its resources. Because the industry can influence return on assets, It's best to compare companies in related industries or use return on asset for historical analysis. Kellogg's has a lower return on assets in 2019. Kellogg's is neither effective nor efficient in managing its balance sheet to generate profits, and a lower return on assets indicates that there is room for growth. In addition, the leverage ratio from year 2018 until 22, the term debt ratio refers to a financial ratio that determines how much leverage a company has. The debt ratio is the ratio of total debt to total assets expressed as a decimal or percentage. Despite the fact that both companies were able to stabilize their debt from 2018 to 2022, Kellogg's consistently displayed a higher debt ratio, according to the graph. This means that if interest rates rise unexpectedly, Kellogg's may be forced to default on its loans. Lastly, the debt-to-equity ratio compares total obligations to shareholders' equity. It compares the amount committed to the business by the company's suppliers, lenders, and other creditors to amount pledged by the shareholders, making it one of the most popular and widely used leverage gearing ratios. According to the graph, Kellogg's had the higher ratio for the 5 years. As a result, Kellogg's is frequently associated with high investment risks, indicating that the company relies heavily on debt financing. That's all from me. Thank you. Furthermore, net income is calculated by dividing shareholder equity by return on equity. It is a success metric. Because of the disparity between the income and balance sheets, the measure is frequently calculated using average equity over a period. According to the graph, Kellogg's had the highest return equity in 2018. This means that the higher the return on equity, the more effective Kellogg's management is at generating revenue and growth from its equity financing.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad ALIF bin AZIZ. Next point is the ways to improve current financial based on the calculated ratio. So the first one, for the liquidity ratio, the data shown for liquidity ratio shows Seng has a higher current and ratio and quick ratio than Kellogg's. Kellogg's must design a strategy to enhance its liquidity ratio because it has a lower quick ratio and current ratio. Two possible alternatives are to reduce operational expenditure, debt repayment, and also to fund and operate the firm with a long-term debt. So next one, let's move on to activity ratio. Next, from the activity ratio statistic shows that Kellogg's has a higher account receivable turnover than Seng. To overcome this, Seng can solve the problem by boosting their billing efficiency, giving prizes for on-time payments, collecting down payments or progress bills, and also building a good connection with clients. In the same statistics, Seng managed to regulate their inventory turnover better than Kellogg's. Method of improving the Kellogg's is some of their store may utilize open-to-buy purchase, planning or inventory management software to ensure they have adequate inventory to maximize sales without losing money or taking unnecessary risks. Other than that, is to pull through manufacturing system, another alternative for organizations with localized suppliers chains and short production lead times. Next, Seng also outperformed Kellogg's in fixed asset turnover for 5 years in a row from 2017 to 2022. Kellogg's inventory control has to be enhanced in order to boost the turnover of its fixed assets. Automated inventory management is the key to streamlining your procedures and expediting asset management. The last statistic for this activity ratio, Seng outperformed Kellogg in total asset turnover. Kellogg's may aim to improve its low asset turnover ratio by stocking its shelves with highly salesable products, also replacing inventory only when necessary, and extending its hours of operation to extract more customers and clients. So let's move on to profitability ratio. For this ratio, when compared to Kellogg's, Seng routinely outperformed Kellogg's in terms of return on asset and return on equity of profitability ratio. Kellogg's profitability ratio may be increased by cutting expenditures, boosting turnover, and enhancing output and efficiency, all at the same time. Kellogg's may able to boost its profitability by searching out and selling to more profitable clients more frequently. Furthermore, Kellogg's must enhance cost management without sacrificing quality and reduce some high-cost expenses that are not profitable for the firm. And lastly, for the leverage ratio, Kellogg's has the highest input in both debt ratio and debt to equity ratio. Seng's leverage ratio might be enhanced through increasing profitability, inventory management, and renegotiation when comparing equity to debt.
Right now, I will discuss about aspiration on the future outlook of Seng Industries Berhad and Kellogg's. First, launching new product every day, we have a lot of new things in this world. These changes impacted the food and beverage industry as well. In order for Kellogg's Incorporation to sustain, the company can consider launching new product that focus on customer preference rather than focusing on the same product over and over again. Meanwhile, Seng Industries Berhad can launch more new product to attract more customers that lead to more profit. But the company can also decide to not to do so since they have a good overall financial analysis. Next is Kellogg's and Seng need to prioritize the best quality of the product. As a customer ourselves, we always choose the best product that have high standard and quality. It is because higher quality product provide a lot of benefit for the customer. We can see that a company can attract more customer if they prioritize serving the best quality of their product to the customer. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Muhammad FARHAN and I will present about the significance and the importance of financial analysis. Financial analysis is an important tool for a company because it can use to analyze their financial performance and to compare it with the other business to see if their business is in a good condition or not. As we know, financial analysis consists of 4 ratios, which are liquidity ratio, activity ratio, profitability ratio, and leverage ratio. So for better understanding, I will explain one by one. So for the first ratio is liquidity. Liquidity ratio is a way to calculate and assume the ability of a company to turn assets into cash that can be used to pay short-term liabilities. Okay, that is for liquidity ratio. And for the next one is activity ratio. Activity ratio is a ratio that used to measure the efficiency of the organization to make use of its assets to generate cash and gain revenue. It is also can be referred as efficiency ratio because it is used to assess the amount of investment invested in an asset and the revenue it is producing. So the next one is profitability ratio. Profitability ratio is a ratio that are used to measure the ability of a business to generate profits over time using information from a certain point in time such as operating costs, balance sheet assets, and more relevant costs that are used. Profitability ratio can also be used to measure the efficiency of the business to generate income and create value for the investors. And last but not least is leverage ratio. Leverage ratio is used to compute the company's amount of debts and its ability to pay for their financial responsibility. It is important to calculate the leverage ratio because it can help the investor to understand how much debt a firm has and they can assess the ability of the firm to pay off its loan when they become due. So that is the significance and importance of financial analysis for a company. So in conclusion, we can see that in this report, Seng Industries Berhad have better performance because their financial analysis is more better than Kellogg's International. So we can conclude that Seng is better, although Kellogg's are more popular and more well known in other countries.